Sam Seder.
The destiny of America is always safer in the hands of the people than in the conference rooms of any elite.
Sam Seder.
They are unanimous in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred.
We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
The Majority Report with Sam Seder.
Ever get the feeling you've been cheated?
It is Wednesday, February 18th, 2026. My name is Emma Vigeland, in for Sam Seder, and this is the 5-time award-winning Majority Report. We are broadcasting live, steps, from the industrially ravaged Gowanus Canal in the heartland of America, downtown Brooklyn, USA. On the program today, Assaad Razzouk will be with us to talk about China's CO2 emissions falling despite their massively growing economy. We were told it couldn't be done. And later in the show, Nida Allam, candidate for Congress in North Carolina's 4th District, will be with us to talk about her race. Also on the program, the U.S. kills 11 more people with illegal strikes in the Caribbean and Pacific, and an enormous military buildup of U.S. personnel ships continues off Iran's coast. FCC Commissioner Ana Gomez, the sole Democrat left in the FCC, calls CBS's censorship of Colbert's Tallarico interview corporate capitulation. A Cambodian national, Lorth Sim, is the latest to die in ICE custody, the 7th immigrant this year. So far. That we know of. Federal judges sound the alarm on ICE's abuse of pregnant people and nursing people in their custody. And ICE just deported that 2-month-old I mentioned earlier this week who was hospitalized for vomiting. They only waited a few hours. Kristi Noem, spokesperson at the DHS, is resigning. Why? Some good news, though. A judge has blocked the deportation of Palestinian peace activist Mohsen Madawi. And some more good news here. RFK's FDA reverses its position and now says they will review Moderna's application for an mRNA-based flu vaccine.
Fauci strikes back.
Yeah. Who paid them off? Who got the Moderna check? House Democrats are discussing forcing a vote to censure far-right Zionist Republican Randy Fine after he said Muslims are inferior to dogs. A third Adams-era rent guidelines board member resigns, allowing Zoran to deliver on his campaign promise to freeze the rent for rent-stabilized units. And speaking of rent, lastly, the Twin Cities Tenants Union announces plans for the largest rent strike in over 100 years. All this and more on today's Majority Report. Welcome to the show, everybody. It is hump day, middle of the week, right smack dab in the middle, around noon here. Hello, Matt. Hello, Brian. Great show today. People are praising my jacket in the IMs. I do love this jacket. I bring it out for some special occasions because it's white and I don't like to get stains on it. But I am actually going to be going on that podcast later this afternoon, Doom Scroll, if people have heard of it, with Josh. I don't know how to say his last name. Citarella. So I'm really looking forward to that, and that's why we got the big guns out today, aka my white jacket. So this is going to be the story for blue cities around the country right now, what Zoran Mamdani is facing here. Because the federal government, led by Donald Trump, is waging all-out war on cities that are led by Democrats, particularly if you're a person of color.
What cities aren't?
Right. I mean, but and in blue states, he's got it. The way he's terrorized LA, the way he's terrorized Chicago. The only thing, even though we're seeing increased ICE activity in New York City, it seems like the only thing that is keeping him from doing the same to his hometown is, one, his affection for it, two, his affection for Zoran Mamdani, but particularly, as Politico reported, Zoran apparently kind of appealed to Trump in that meeting a few months ago by talking about his desire to like reform zoning, which is apparently something that Trump had been railing about for years prior to his political career as well. So someone on Zoran's team did great research, and that was
figure out which keys to jingle.
Exactly. But he, as a headline, did notch a significant win yesterday. He's going to be able to appoint 6 members to the Rent Guidelines Board, which is the board that basically determines whether or not he's going to be able to deliver on his campaign promise to freeze rent for 1 million rent-stabilized apartments.
The concern being that Adams had stacked it with a bunch of toadies that were going to get in the way of that. That has already cleared itself out.
Exactly. There were 3 resignations of the Adams toadies, meaning we don't know how Zoran got them to resign. But probably leveraging his enormous popularity and some other arm twisting behind the scenes. I mean, his governance is a laboratory for future left-wing and progressive governance in many ways, but including his aggression and his ruthlessness. I mean, we don't, in the best way. You know, that is what a lesson that should be learned, is that he acts with urgency and he doesn't mess around. So he's gotten 3 resignations and he's going to be able to freeze the rent. And that means we're in mid to late February. He's already secured the ability to deliver on 2 of his 4 campaign promises, freezing the rent for those units. And he already secured funding from Kathy Hochul for his universal childcare pilot program. But we've still got free buses and we've still got the city-run grocery stores to worry about.
Which were, frankly, I would think the lower...
100%.
Yeah.
It seems to be an order of operations.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's where you move in terms of left politics. There's a time for expression of left ideals. There's also a time for implementing those things. And I think we're in that phase right now for Zoran, at least.
Yes. And he's going to need, though, significant help from Albany. Because he's going to need Hochul to raise taxes on the rich. And he's been priming the public to understand this with talking about how Eric Adams left the city budget in disarray. It's just a smart way to frame it, too, because Adams is an unpopular former mayor, and he's using his popularity to leverage what he needs, and Adams's unpopularity to leverage what he needs. So he, yesterday, when talking about the city budget, basically issued kind of a warning here that if Albany does not approve tax hikes on the rich, the city might have to raise property taxes significantly. And he emphasizes that this is a last resort. Legally, you have to balance the budget in New York City. So this is not a question of if he can do it, or if he has to do it. He has to do it. And so, of course, the New York Post and all these other right-wing outlets are running with the property tax hike piece, but Zoran repeatedly emphasizes that this is a last resort.
Because those papers work for the ultra-wealthy.
Exactly right. And property owners in New York City are, I mean, that might be the #1 class of people other than just Zionists that the New York Post is trying to appeal to. And then also suburbanites who don't even live here but want to see some like racialized content about crime in the scary city. But I digress. Here is Zoran Mamdani, mayor of New York, feels good to say it still, explaining what the 2 paths are right now for balancing the budget.
But I want to be clear. $5.4 billion is still a very steep mountain to climb. And there are 2 paths that we can walk. One that offers long-term stability, and a second one with significant pain that we deeply hope to avoid. The first path repairs the structural imbalance between the city and the state. We want to work with Albany to raise personal income taxes by 2% on the 33,000 New Yorkers earning more than $1 million a year. and to raise corporate taxes on the most profitable corporations. And we know that for far too long, New Yorkers have given far more to the state than what we have received in return. It is time to end the drain. If we cannot follow this first path, we will be forced onto a much more damaging path of last resort, one where we have to use the only tools at the city's disposal, raising property taxes and raiding our reserves. This second path is painful. We will continue to work with Albany to avoid it. This first path will deliver the structural change that we need to recalibrate the relationship between the city and the state. Because as we know, New Yorkers contribute 54.5% of state revenue, but receive only 40.5% back. At the same time, New York City's portion of the state's GDP has grown by nearly 10% since 2010. That imbalance is untenable. Once again, I'm calling for Albany to end the drain. There is no third option of failing to balance the budget. By law, ever since the fiscal crisis of the 1970s, which placed the city on the brink of bankruptcy, New York City has been legally required to balance its budget. We will do so. If we cannot pursue the first path, the only option we have remaining is the second path. At the heart of this path is a property tax increase. This would effectively be a tax on working and middle-class New Yorkers who have a median income of $122,000. The second path also requires us to raid our reserves. It would mean withdrawing $980 million from our city's rainy day fund in fiscal year 2026 and $229 million from the Retiree Health Benefit Trust in fiscal year 2027. These are steps that have been taken before, but only in moments of extraordinary external crisis. Mayor Bloomberg's response to the 2008 financial collapse and Mayor de Blasio's response to the enormous revenue shortfall caused by the pandemic. We do not want to have to turn to such drastic measures to balance our budget.
I love his refusal to treat voters like idiots and the way that he explains exactly what he's thinking to the public. He and through an explanation, though, putting enormous pressure on Kathy Hochul. Enormous pressure. One, pointing out that the dynamic in New York in terms of taxation and what New York City provides for the state versus what it receives, that dynamic is quite similar to what we see on the federal level with blue states like California and New York contributing a disproportionate amount to the funds that are at the federal government's disposal, and providing and subsidizing poorer, more rural states in that regard. So you can see how these dynamics play out more broadly. But he lays out the number. 33,000 New Yorkers earn more than $1 million a year. And raising those income taxes by 2% is the way to avoid the disaster scenario that he's talking about.
Simple. Two birds with one stone, as far as I'm concerned.
But as he mentions, property taxes are the only thing that he has control over. The income tax piece is what Kathy Hochul needs to agree to. Apparently, the last time that the city raised property taxes, which is amazing, was in 2003 under Bloomberg, because 9/11 led to a recession in the city. But that's the last time that property taxes have been increased in New York City. And, you know, I mean, it's, as he mentions, it would really impact all New Yorkers more broadly. So, of course, that's not the path that we should be going down. But just, I don't know, something to note there. And
this is a Democrat Party problem, and they need to be able to handle this sort of thing. And you don't have Republicans to point the finger to. This is the state Senate. The Democrats have as big a majority as they've had in decades. Basically, these past few years, it's 41-22 in the state Senate. Assembly is 103-47. Figure it out. Right. Any Democrats, and the problem is there's a lot of Democrats who are basically bought by the rich. And so, and which is to say, like the ultra rich, not even like the property owning class. It's the extremely wealthy, like the big billionaires who are making the giant towers and parking their investments in there so they can sell them later. That needs to be addressed. Tax them, or it's going to fall on somebody else.
And I love how he lays out the raw numbers too there, where you have the 33,000 New Yorkers that would be taxed an extra 2% versus the over 3 million residential owners in New York City and over 100,000 commercial property owners who would be affected by a 9.5% increase in property taxes. And also when he would have to draw on the city's reserves in this scenario in the rainy day fund, it would also mean taking hundreds of millions of dollars out of a fund that provides for health benefits for municipal retirees.
Yeah, I'm the only tenant of my landlord. If they get a tax increase on property taxes, my rent will probably go up.
Exactly.
So I definitely prefer going after the ultra-rich folks. And there's no excuse to not raise their taxes other than our political system and our press, like the New York Post, is corrupted by them.
And I hope that there's a plan outside of just the public pressure campaign here, and I'd imagine there is. I have no reason to doubt Zoran Mamdani's strategy at this point, given the success he's had so far. But I am a little bit surprised that he endorsed Hochul so early on when she still has not agreed to raise taxes on the rich. Perhaps they have some sort of handshake understanding that she has to put up some sort of fight. But given the severity of what he lays out there, it doesn't seem like there's been an agreement. What perhaps preceded this endorsement was Hochul saying that she was going to agree to give a $1.5 billion $1.5 billion to the city over the next 2 fiscal years, which did address the budget gap projections. It drew it down from $7 billion to $5.4 billion. But without that tax increase that Mamdani is talking about, the doomsday scenario is what is being laid out. Yep. And we all, the right-wing media is just clipping that part where he talks about the property tax increase and not all of the other context about it. And just everybody should be aware of the dirty tactics that are going to be used to try to smear this, because the successes so far have been so undeniable that this is where they have to go.
They have to lie and talk about snow.
Yeah,
right. And the opposite should be, he needs to do more snow removal, but also we can't do anything to raise tax. What's the alternative? But besides these two things, it's massively slashing the government budget, austerity, which is an absolute no-go. And even the New York Post can't even say that's what we want, because they just spent the last month saying Zoran needs to do more to do snow removal. Well, guess who pays for that, you idiots?
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Which I'll say the sanitation department has done a great job in a really hard winter. Around the clock, shoveling snow into trucks that melt it straight into the sewer. I've been shocked by how impressive that is.
I mean, and the people that are like the snow thing that all they have, the snow is still here. It's been the coldest winter in like 20 years, Yeah. There was some dummy I saw on Twitter being like, it's been sunny every day and the snow hasn't melted. This was a few weeks ago. Girl, if
it was John Potoritz.
Check out Antarctica.
It was John Potoritz?
Yeah. It's like, it needs to be above freezing, dumbass.
Yeah.
What? It's sunny in Antarctica like every day.
Exactly right. I mean, skiers. You think that like skiing stops if it's not
cloudy?
Have to
explain this?
Yes.
To adults?
This isn't. I was about to make a Twilight reference and I stopped myself. Okay. In a moment, we are going to be speaking to our next guest, Assaad Razzouk, about the advances that China has made in infrastructure and clean energy. But first, a word from some of our sponsors here. Life can feel like a big puzzle. You're constantly trying to fit all of the pieces together: your career, your passions, your relationships, your finances, and of course, your healthcare. Yeah, it is a lot, but finding care should not be the trickiest piece to fit into everything going on. ZocDoc makes it easy to find and book an appointment with a doctor you will love. ZocDoc is a free app and website that helps you find and book high-quality in-network doctors so you can find someone you love. We're talking about booking in-network appointments with more than 150,000 providers across 50 states. Whether you're looking for dermatology, dentistry, primary care, eye care, or one of the other 200 plus specialties offered on ZocDoc, you can easily search by specialty or symptom to build the care team that is right for you. You want to see your doctor in person? Great. You prefer a video call? Well, you can do that too. Appointments made through ZocDoc happen fast, typically within 24 or 72 hours of booking. In between that range, you can even score same-day appointments. That is how I found my dentist, who I really like, in spite of being a dentist, which is, tough because I don't like going to the dentist. Nobody does. But he makes it easier by being a good doctor. And I found him through ZocDoc. When I've had like kind of emergency sickness situations, ZocDoc is my go-to. I quite literally can't believe it's a free app because of how useful it is. And I can't also believe that this kind of like the technology of it isn't being absorbed by more doctors' offices who still, if you're not using ZocDoc, make it impossible for you to make an appointment without these like insane phone tag situation. ZocDoc, you don't have to worry about that. And if you're like me and you get social anxiety on the phone, you don't have to worry about that either. I would like to thank ZocDoc for sponsoring today's episode. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/majority to find and instantly book a doctor you will love today. That's ZocDoc.com/majority, ZocDoc.com/majority. Thanks, ZocDoc, for sponsoring this message. Links down below in the video and episode descriptions and at majority.fm. And lastly, this episode of the Majority Report is brought to you by Wild Grain. Wild Grain is the first bake from frozen subscription box for artisanal breads, seasonal pastries, and fresh pastas. This is around the time that my mouth starts watering as I read the ad. Plus, all items conveniently bake in 25 minutes or less. Unlike many store-bought options, Wild Grain uses simple ingredients you can pronounce and a slow fermentation process that can make it easier on your belly and richer in nutrients and antioxidants. There are no preservatives and no shortcuts. Wild Grain's boxes are fully customizable. In addition to their variety box, they have a gluten-free box, vegan box, and a new protein box. I loved those dang apple cider donuts so much that we got from Wild Grain. And I don't remember the name of the bread, but it's like a French bread or something like that. I had that on a really, really cold day, and it was perfect. I didn't have to leave my apartment, and it was like just a wonderful treat in my household. It was the sourdough. The sourdough also. That was a different bread. That was great.
Smell of fresh baked bread in the winter is the greatest thing in the world.
I know. It's getting me right now. It delivers right to your door, baking under 25 minutes. It's great for weekend brunches, for dinner, what have you, warming yourself up in cold weather. You've got an artisanal bakery right in your, delivered right to you and then right in your freezer. There's nothing like having an artisanal bakery in your freezer to chase away the winter chill. Now is the best time to stay in and enjoy comforting homemade meals with Wild Grain. I highly recommend giving Wild Grain a try. Right now, Wild Grain is offering our audience $30 off your first box plus free croissants for life when you go to wildgrain.com/majority to start your subscription today. That's $30 off your first box and free croissants for life when you visit wildgrain.com/majority, or you can use promo code majority at checkout. Link down below in the video and episode descriptions and at majority.fm. Quick break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Assaad Razzouk. We are back, and we are joined now by Assaad Razzouk, CEO of Durham Energy, a renewable energy company, and host of the Angry Clean Energy Guy podcast. Assaad, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Emma. It's a pleasure.
Really happy to have you here to talk about this pretty incredible news about China. basically being able to grow at this rapid pace, but also successfully decarbonizing. Last week, Carbon Brief published this analysis showing that China's carbon dioxide emissions fell by 1% in the final quarter of last year, which means when you add it up with the rest of the quarters of last year, it indicates that China's CO2 emissions have fell overall in 2025, and this matches with other trends showing their emissions flatlining or falling. Talk about the significance of this.
Yeah, the Chinese don't really mess around, you know, and I've seen this over 15 years. It's all previewed and they then just deliver. So if you go back to the history of their decarbonization, it started with a war on pollution, but then it was enshrined in the Communist Party constitution back in 2017 as under ecological civilization. And it wasn't coming out of nowhere. It came from the fact that in the early 2010s, they routinely had 80,000 riots per year about pollution. And so if you're the Communist Party governing China, that is an attack potentially on your legitimacy. And the reaction has been to enshrine this ecological civilization concept into their constitution and then move their entire economy to deliver on what they said they were going to do. So they said, I think that President Xi Jinping said in 2020 that they will cap emissions by 2030. And as you can see, they usually don't like to miss their goals and they like to be a few years early, and that's what they delivered. And it's very consequential because it takes away many arguments against decarbonization, because of course, not only are they still growing, but they are dominating the space because they're number one in solar deployment, wind deployment, offshore wind deployment, electric cars, then the manufacturing of solar panels, wind turbines. I mean, you name it, they're number one globally as a machine. And it's all geared towards that ecological civilization enshrined in their constitution.
Can you speak a little bit about the arguments that you mentioned that have been used to basically say that decarbonization and electrifying your economy is incompatible with economic growth?
Yeah, these are cheap arguments, to be honest, because they have no basis in fact, really. The thing is that we have built, I mean, we had good reasons to do so, but since the Industrial Revolution, we built a fossil fuel electricity system, which is remarkably wasteful and destructive. And you know, order of magnitude, you put in whatever you put in, basically 2/3 of it is wasted before you get any useful energy. Whereas when you electrify, almost 100% of what you use is usable energy. Not only that, your footprint, your environmental footprint is massively lower. I mean, orders of magnitudes of something like 1/1000th of the environmental footprint of a fossil fuel economy, and so on. However, you know, you can understand where these arguments are coming from because you've had a fossil fuel, you know, industry that's gotten very wealthy over 100 years. It's got a lot of money. It buys a lot of airtime and whatever. And it pollutes not only does it pollute our air, but it also pollutes the waves, the airwaves, so to speak. So.
Right. It pollutes the conversation.
Exactly.
And can you speak a little bit about how, you know, you mentioned how China's long-term planning has led them to this moment. And that's something obviously that the United States completely lacks. It is a completely unstable political system, I should say, political system here. Biden does the Inflation Reduction Act, does some sort of like infrastructure bill, and then Trump comes in just 3 years later, 2 years later, scraps the entire thing. So there's no long-term planning here in the United States. And when you compare that to the targets that China has set out, I mean, like their investment in high-speed rail and infrastructure also allowed them to advance green energy because you can more quickly transport materials and energy, and it's a big part of why this massive country has been able to electrify so quickly.
Yeah, and it's even more concerning, I think, from a if you look at the kind of state of the U.S. economy today, it's even more concerning because China today has already on its books the manufacturing capacity to deliver about one entire United States of electricity per year from 2030, only from solar, wind, and batteries. What this means is they'll build an entire U.S. electricity system each year, per year, from 2030. And then in turns, what that means is they will reach a state of overabundance of energy, which will allow them to have a massive competitive advantage when it comes to things like, AI and data centers and what have you, all at much cheaper cost than the American competition can. And, you don't have to go far away to see who's shouting from the roofs. I mean, Elon Musk, if you just read his Twitter feed, some 1/3 is about the craziness of what's going on in the United States now, because it's not building the electricity of the future, and it's therefore limiting its ability to power the chips that it needs for AGI, right? So, and I think the US is going to run out of electricity to power all the chips that have been ordered by the end of this year. And I'm not quoting anybody else other than Elon Musk again. So you've got voices across the political spectrum that are all actually talking sense, yet the machine is just driving in the wrong direction.
And can you elaborate a little bit on what types of energy China is using to reduce their emissions? I mean, solar, wind, what is driving this mostly, or a combination of all of it?
Well, the overwhelming tech is solar. It's now China is now rapidly also ramping up batteries, as well as nuclear energy. I mean, they have an enormous, but by global standards, they have an enormous nuclear energy program. And what, notwithstanding how big their nuclear energy effort is, if you project to 2035 or 2020 or 2040, effectively the overwhelming source of electricity in China is going to be solar, and then batteries, followed by wind, with nuclear probably stabilizing at 5%, just because it takes you so much longer to build nuclear power plants, and it's a much slower process. So you can do. It takes you, say, 15 or 20 years to deliver a nuclear power plant. By that time, you've delivered maybe 150 nuclear power plants in solar power. The Chinese are also building coal, which is another common argument that you hear.
Yes, that was going to be my next question about, because then you'll hear the argument about how much coal they're burning, but it's being offset by everything we just discussed.
I see it on my Twitter feed and LinkedIn feed all the time. And yeah, I mean, but you have to look at what they're doing, because it's actually very smart. Yes, they're building coal. They're building coal partly to replace old coal, but also partly because it's insurance. I mean, if you think about it logically for a minute, the argument falls away. If I'm going to replace the entire US electricity system, today with solar, wind, and batteries, it's going to take me a few years to do so. In those years, I'm going to have a stressed grid, and my grid needs a stabilizing factor, which has to come from coal until the batteries have scaled up. And you can see it in their capacity utilization. All the data is public. So their typical coal-fired power plant used to run 5,600 hours per year. So say 60% capacity factor. And it's now on its way to running at 35% capacity factor, which means they're going to be losing money on that coal. But they need it as a bridge, in effect, and as insurance until they have built out enough solar, wind, and batteries. And what I'm saying is not controversial. I mean, it's literally math, basically.
What is the how much do the Chinese have a monopoly on this technology? I mean, and we know that they're producing around 70% of electric vehicles that are being manufactured across the globe. But in terms of like the technology of solar and some of the more these advancements that we're talking about here, how far ahead are they of the United States?
They're very far ahead, but the United States can catch up. They're very far ahead. Yes, they control over 70% of pretty much every single sector that matters in the clean technology revolution. But the United States can, of course, catch up, right? And there are efforts to do so in terms of building out the capacity of the country to deliver the technology of the future. So that's solar panels and batteries and wind turbines, notwithstanding the current political climate, because U.S. businesses and big tech and the hyperscalers, they know exactly how their competitive position is going to be weakened once China, and it's very close, has an overabundance of electricity, which means the ability to develop data centers and therefore ultimately AGI faster than the United States. And these are consequential choices that are being made today in the US political environment, because it's not like you can catch up forever, right? Once you have scaled enough, it's going to be not possible to catch up.
But catching up also still means that that China is going to own the technology. I mean, just from like a leverage standpoint, the United States is eventually going to have to rely on China, most likely, for this advanced technology. If and when we're forced to build out the capacity of green energy that we should be doing right now.
Yes, I think so. I think it's actually better off relying it, because you can buy Chinese once, but then it's your solar power, right? And the solar panels are going to be around for 30 years. So why would you not 40 years? Why would you not buy them that once? It's the same thing with the wind turbines. The batteries last 20 years, right? So if you want to catch up, yes, of course, build your own manufacturing capacity, but why would you not buy that solar panel that lasts 40 years, given that once you've bought it, the fuel is free and yours? I mean, it's an energy security issue, and the arguments don't make sense.
Yes, but that is where I think, we see why China's state capacity versus the United States is a big reason for this dynamic. Because in part, it's when you install solar panels, when you install wind turbines, it is finite, as you say. These can be structural and they can produce energy, but oil and gas is a resource that you have to keep tapping into. And so if your economy is driven more by speculators, by investors, by the market versus like a state impulse to build out infrastructure for the betterment of the country. Investors prefer oil, gas, coal, what have you, versus solar panels and stuff like that, or at least here in America, the existing wealthy.
I find that okay. That argument's going to go away, and it's going to go away because of economics.
I hope so.
Right?
Yes.
It's already cheaper. I mean, look at Texas or California. But
Right.
no, forget California. Look at Texas. Why would an oil and gas state, a proud oil and gas state, be building solar batteries and wind turbines like there's no tomorrow? Right? They've leapfrogged California now in solar power, for example, and they're doing that because in Texas the market speaks, and the market says it's cheaper, it's better, and therefore they are building it. And as a bonus, they don't have any blackouts anymore, electricity blackouts anymore, when they have extreme weather events, for example. And so I think the argument, the economics has got to win, especially, as you say, in a market economy. It's just unavoidable. It's, today, tomorrow, the day after, but it's unavoidable.
Well, from your mouth to God's ears, really appreciate your time today. Assaad Razzouk, CEO of Durham Energy, a renewable energy company, and host of the Angry Clean Energy Guy podcast. You can check that out. We'll put a link down below to that in the video description and episode descriptions. Thanks so much for your time today.
Pleasure.
Quick break, folks, and when we come back, we'll be joined by Nida Allam. We are back, and we are joined now by Nida Allam, Vice Chair of the Durham County Board of Commissioners and candidate for Congress in North Carolina's 4th Congressional District. The primary is on March 3rd. Early voting ends February 28th. Nida, welcome to the show. So glad to have you.
Thank you so much for having me, Emma. I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to be speaking with you because you're a Justice Democrat. You're one of the progressive candidates running this cycle against an incumbent, and you already ran for Congress in 2022. And the pro-Israel lobby went really hard against you, both AIPAC and DMFI, spending millions of dollars against you. And this time, 4 years later, you're running against the same opponent, the incumbent Representative Valerie Fouché, who eventually buckled and refused to accept AIPAC money in August after all of this pressure. So talk a little bit about that 4-year difference between the first time you ran and the dynamics of your candidacy and that of your opponent and how things have changed.
Absolutely, yeah. And let's not forget the crypto billionaire who was sitting in the Bahamas, now in jail for fraud, that also dumped in over $1 million into the race in 22.
Right.
Yeah, and we're seeing like this momentum and energy of anti-genocide, anti-war candidates all across the country because it's what working class people want in this country. They are sick and tired of seeing their taxpayer dollars to be used funding wars when they're struggling here right now to make ends meet. That families are not even able to keep a roof over their heads, put food on their table, and told that we don't have enough money to fully fund our public education, that we don't have enough money to make healthcare a human right, but yet we have money to endlessly send bombs and missiles overseas.
So, I mean, the fact that your opponent caved on this front on the money that she was taking is, I think, indicative of what you're talking about here, that she sees that energy within the voting population and that they want to be prioritized over genocide, over a cryptocurrency, and all of these kind of tech, AI, venture capital people. But she still takes corporate PAC money. Talk a little bit about the funders of her campaign that she still is accepting.
Absolutely. And it also, to note, as you mentioned, it just happened this past August. We're 2-3 years into the genocide for that stance to be taken. And it happened even in the middle of this genocide to fly to Israel and take pictures smiling with Netanyahu, still to this day continuing to refuse to call it a genocide, refusing to call Netanyahu a war criminal, when we've seen this live streamed in front of our eyes every single day. And now she still continues to take money from these corporate defense contractors that are profiting off of the United States endlessly funding war. The Pentagon has not passed an audit in over 30 years. Why is a member of Congress in a safe blue seat accepting corporate checks from Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, Honeywell, Caterpillar, all of these corporations that profit off of the genocide, and also taking money from corporations like Meta, that we know has been working to limit people's voice in putting outreach and information out about ICE. She has been asked, there's a data center being debated in this district, she's been asked point blank by residents, are you going to reject AI PAC money? And she refuses to answer.
There you go. And that data center is becoming a flashpoint. It's not just in your potential district, it's across the country, but it's causing people's electricity bills to go up, and they're trying to buy off politicians to ignore that very fact. What are you hearing from your members of your community about the potential construction of this AI data center?
Oh, majority. I've heard from hundreds of residents that are all against it. They've been showing up to, town council meetings to express their anger and frustration that they don't want this funding. They don't want this center being built because we see corporations like Meta spending millions of dollars across the country right now with these ads to try to convince us that these AI data centers are going to create jobs and they're good for us. The data is very clear, and it shows us that they are killing our jobs along with destroying our environment. Here in this district, Duke Energy is already hiking up our electricity prices to provide the services that it needs to for the data centers. Why is that price increase being passed down to residents? We also have seen across the country that these data centers are using millions of gallons of water a day. The town of Apex, their water source is a lake. When that lake runs dry, what happens?
Right. And you support the Green New Deal. I saw on your website. Have people in your district or potential district spoken to you about the AI data centers in that context? Do you find that it's basically easier to make some more environmental arguments when it's become really practical for people when they've experienced it with their energy bills?
Yeah, folks are saying it from multiple aspects. It's that job aspect that people are fearful of losing their jobs. This district was hit with the highest number of federal funding cuts, more than any congressional district in the country. So those are hundreds of jobs that were lost already. And now people are scared that what is an AI data center going to mean for their jobs? And then on top of potentially losing their jobs, their electricity prices are going to go up. And there's no regulations put in place. And our current member is the co-chair of the AI task force in Congress. And to be the co-chair of an AI task force that's meant to regulate an industry, but then not say you're going to reject money from that industry, how are you supposed to regulate them?
Well, I mean, that's why they're interested in spending on her behalf, it seems. I saw that you received an endorsement from Bernie Sanders. He went and he campaigned with you last week in Durham. Just, I guess, if you could speak a little bit about that event and that endorsement and how you would define your political ideology, maybe in comparison to someone like Sanders.
Yeah, I mean, my first start into politics, it wasn't a traditional one. I never expected to ever run for office myself. However, when I was in my final year of undergrad, I lost my best friend, Yusra Abu Salha, her younger sister Razan, and Yusra's husband Dia Barakat when they were murdered in their home in Chapel Hill by their by their neighbor who hated them because they were Muslim.
Wow.
And seeing how politicians and the media labeled it a parking dispute, and having grown up in a post 9/11 America where Muslims were demonized, and now to just be dehumanized in such a way to have our deaths be brushed under the rug, that's what pushed me to start looking at how do we have a louder voice and a seat at the table so that others are writing our narratives. And that led me to Senator Sanders when I was still in undergrad and actually started organizing and working for him. And so it's kind of come full circle moment now that 11 years ago, I was in Greensboro speaking at a Coliseum campaigning for him. And now he's come to Durham to campaign for me.
I mean, I'm just so happy for you and just hearing that story. That is just so heartwarming. I mean, he's an inspiration for many of us, so I relate to you on that front. You mentioned that your district had like the largest single loss in federal funding because of Doge. What has your opponent said about that?
She's put out letters. Strongly worded letters.
Or done about that, I should say. I mean, in Congress, she's in power.
Yeah, no, we've been having sit downs and meetings with laid off FEMA workers, FEMA responders, USAID workers, academic professors and researchers that have been doing life-saving research and talking to them about the impact that these cuts have had on them. And we've heard the same thing in all of these conversations, that they've been over a year of looking for a new job, months on unemployment. A lot of them were about to start their own families or had just started their own families or were just weeks away from being laid off, from retired. And so to have a member that's not proactively fighting for them to have their jobs be returned and to just be putting out letters and, providing sympathy, our residents need more than that. And that's why we've introduced the Carolina Contract, which is my promise to the district of how, once I get to DC, we're going to be advocating for not just a return of the federal funding, but a return at a higher level of 150% until we return to the same level of work that was being done prior to the Doge cuts, creating protections for our federal employees so that they can't just be laid off for doing their jobs well, and that there's actually protections for them and the right to unionize, and also a fund created so that if push comes to shove and we have an emergency situation, that there's a fund to help workers get through that difficult time.
Yes, that's a phenomenal idea. Has she responded directly to your proposal?
No.
Okay. So lastly, I wanted to ask you about ICE, because I know that ICE has been, quite active terrorizing people in North Carolina. We saw some really, I think, positive examples of resistance. I believe it was in Charlotte of ICE. What would you do as a member of Congress to protect your community from ICE?
I would, one, do the same thing I've been doing as a county commissioner, is showing up in the streets, standing shoulder to shoulder with my neighbors as an immigrant woman, as a Muslim woman who is the very person that ICE was created under the Bush administration to target.
Right.
I am the only candidate in this race that has called for the abolishment of ICE. The fact that our member of Congress has seen what's happening in Minneapolis, seen what's happened in our own backyards, seeing our taxpayer dollars be used to murder innocent civilians in broad daylight, and still only be saying that body cameras will save us. They're being live streamed murdering people. What is a camera going to change about that?
Exactly. I mean, it's, and you read a little bit about like what ICE really, what would benefit ICE, and they kind of like the body camera thing because it's surveillance of people that they can put into some sort of, you know, Palantir technology, and they have a recording of every single interaction that they can use for mass surveillance. So, you know, obviously you're not taking corporate PAC money. You're taking only small dollar contributions. As a Justice Democrat, that's the barrier to entry. How can people support your campaign in the critical final weeks ahead of? I guess now it's 13 days until Election Day.
Yes, 13 days. It's a sprint. Ways that people can support is nidaallam.com/donate to make a contribution, but also you can volunteer from anywhere in the country. So if you go to nidaallam.com/volunteer, you can sign up to text bank, phone bank, or if you're in the district or around us, come out and canvass and knock doors, because we're also the only campaign that's running any sort of field program that's meeting voters where they're at and building those relationships.
That's great. All right, well, we'll put a link to that down below in the video and episode descriptions. Nida Allam, thank you so much for your time today. As a reminder, you're running in North Carolina's 4th Congressional District. The election day is March 3rd, but early voting ends February 28th, so you can still early vote up until that point, until 10 days from now. So thanks so much for coming on the show today. Really appreciate it. And best of luck.
Thanks, Emma.
Of course. With that, folks, we are going to head into the fun half in just a second. We'll bring in Francesca Fiorentini, who's going to be joining us for the fun half. But Matt, what's happening on Left Reckoning and with the Jacobin Show?
Yeah, big giant Left Reckoning yesterday afternoon. I talked about Hillary Clinton going to the security conference and saying we can have a debate about immigration. They didn't go too far, which is rich for someone who failed to stand up to a coup that the administration she worked for initially stood up to. And in Honduras, which led to 500,000 people being displaced. So yeah, it's bad when migration has to happen. This idea that it happens because our border is weak, because we're not giving security contractors enough to do down there, and not because of our foreign policy is, I can't believe we still are stuck in the mud on that object permanence of why people come here. It's not because of the apple pie and the freedoms that we all love to have.
And our non-existent social programs.
It's because we destroy their governments and civil society by letting mafiosos and cartels taken over. But we also had a number of guests on the program, so check that out, Left Reckoning YouTube channel.
All right, check it out, folks. And hello. That's
Hi,
my buddy.
I was getting my stretch in. I was like, I'm on deck.
All right, get ready. Stretch. We're going to make fun of some right-wingers, and you're going to probably have to see RFK without his shirt on. Hello, Francesca Fiorentini.
Hi, Emma Vigeland. Thank you for having me on White Jacket Day.
Wow, this jacket is really, really causing quite a stir. What's happening on the Bitchuation Room outside of what I've been talking about? And I mean, I'm just teeing you up to plug our live show. Just do it.
Oh, sorry. I was going to tell you about our last show. Abby Martin was on our last show that I'm going to plug now. But also, yes, Emma and I will be live at the Dynasty Typewriter in Los Angeles on March 22nd. That's a Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Just very,
perfect for our crowd.
Oh, beautiful. We know you're coming from far away. We know we're still drinking. I just want to put that out there. The bar is open. Yeah. But the special guests, other than yourself, will be announced soon. But yes, get your tickets in the link or Dynasty Typewriter or FrancescaFiorentini.com or all of the other things. And I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too. I mean, I've been texting you every time it's getting cold here. Like, wish it was tomorrow. Wish I wasn't here when it was a real feel -2 degrees. Oh my God, it's at least better now. But there we are. Hey, the Bitchuation Room live. That's going to be a blast. Okay, so yeah, link in the episode description and right, like down below. And yeah, you can go to Francesca's site as well. Anything else? Join the majorityReport.com.
JustCoffee.com.
JustCoffee.coop, fair trade tea and fair trade coffee and chocolate. What's the one that we're not supposed that it doesn't exist?
I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't know which ones don't exist. I know the coffee does exist.
Well, Sam had been saying it the same way for 3 years, and then we like figured out that 2 of the things he was saying are not offered on the website, and I forget which one they are. So justcoffee.coop, fair trade stuff, but definitely coffee, and you can get the Majority Report blend. All right, guys, see you in the fun half.
Okay, Emma, please.
Well, I feel that my voice is sorely lacking on the Majority Report.
Wait, look, Sam is unpopular.
I do deserve a vacation at Disney World. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome Emma to the show.
It is Thursday.
Yeah, I think you need to take over for Sam.
Yes, please.
No, I'm gonna pause you right there.
Wait, what?
You can't encourage Emma to live like this. And I'll tell you why.
So was offered a tour, sushi, and poker with the boys. Tour, sushi, and poker with the boys. So was offered a tour, sushi, and poker with the boys.
What?
Tour, sushi, and poker.
Tim's upset.
Tour, sushi, and poker with the boys. So was offered a tour, sushi, and
that's what we call the biz.
Tour, sushi, and poker with the boys.
Right.
Tour, sushi, and poker.
We're gonna get demonetized.
I just think that what you did to Tim Pool was mean.
Free speech.
That's not what we're about here. Look at how sad he's become now. You shouldn't even talk about it. I think you're responsible.
I probably am in a certain way, but let's get to the meltdown here.
Tour, sushi, and poker with the boys.
Oh my God.
Tour,
Wow.
sushi.
I'm sorry, I'm losing my fucking mind.
So was offered a tour, sushi, and poker with the boys.
Logic.
Tour, sushi, and poker with the boys. Boy. Tour.
I think I'm like a little kid. I think I'm like a little kid. I think I'm like a kid.
Tour.
I think I'm like a little kid. I think I'm like a little kid.
Had this debate 7,000 times.
A little kid. I think I'm like a little kid. I think I'm like a kid.
Tour.
I'm losing my fucking mind.
Some people just don't understand.
So I'm not trying to be a dick right now, but like I absolutely think the U.S. should be providing me with a wife and kids.
That's not what we're talking about here. Okay, all right.
It's not a fun job.
Tour.
That's a real thing. That's a real thing. Real thing.
Willy Wonka tour.
That's a real thing. That's a real thing. Real thing.
What's that offered a tour?
That's a real thing. That's a real thing. Real thing. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. Real thing.
What's that offered a tour?
Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Rogan has done it again.
That offered a tour?
That's a real thing. That's a
Poker with the boys.
I think he might be blowing it out of proportion. Real thing. That's a
Poker with the boys. That offered a tour?
That's a real thing. That's a
Poker.
Let's go, Joey.
Tour, sushi, and poker with the boys.
Take it easy, Tim.
Tour, sushi, and poker.
Things have really gotten out of hand.
Sushi, and poker with the boys.
Delusional.
Tour,
Deluded.
sushi.
You don't have a clue as to what's going on. Live YouTube.
Sam has like the weight of the world on his shoulders.
Poggers.
Sam doesn't want to do this show anymore. It was so much easier when the Majority Report was just you. You were happy.
Let's change the subject.
Rangers and Knicks are doing great.
Now shut up. You don't want people saying reckless things on your program.
That's
Now,
one of the most difficult parts about this show.
This is a pro-killing podcast.
I'm thinking maybe it's time we bury the hatchet.
Left is best. Trump. Violet.
Tour.
Don't be foolish and don't fucking tweet at me and don't bitch. The way Emma has cucked all of these people, love it.
That's where my heart is. So I wrote my honors thesis about it.
Oh,
Sorry.
she wrote an honest thesis. I guess I should hand the main mic to you now.
You want to go right off the on foreign policy.
We already fund Israel, dude. Are you against that?
That's a tougher question. I have an answer to.
Incredible theme song.
Hi, Bumbler.
Emma Vigeland, absolutely one of my favorite people. Actually, not just in the game, like period.
We're back. It's the fun half with Francesca Fiorentini. We'll play this clip in just a second. Matt's been working hard. Read some IMs. Scientist from Maine. I still can't believe Tim Pool offered to twerk sushi and poker with the boys, and Emma turned it down. That is an awful image. Haunting Spectre. When it comes to foreign policy, Michael Parenti was 100% right about Bernie Sanders. I don't know what he said about him, so.
It was probably pretty critical, but, you know. Parenti had take, sure.
Ad hominem says, listening to... Oh, and the homonym is spelled like homonym. Ha, very clever. Based on our previous debate, listening to Francesca on MR makes this 12-hour shift bearable.
Oh, damn. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
We'll be very entertaining for you. Got real estate fact. The U.S. achieved fusion ignition, the milestone in nuclear fusion research, where a reaction produces more energy than the energy used to initiate it, making it self-sustaining. All other energy tech will become obsolete. I mean, I think that nuclear is going to be one of the many options that we use to get off fossil fuels. I wouldn't say that it's going to make all other energy technology obsolete. But
what kind is?
Nuclear.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the culture war around nuclear is a bit exhausting. If major states were using nuclear to attack CO2, it'd be great. The whole problem is getting the massive investment toward anything that reduces CO2.
Dokapilled. Trump has been lying for a decade that China isn't moving away from coal-powered, so why should we? I loathe the world we live in. I mean, as our guest mentioned, it's true that that China is building out its coal capacity, but as a backstop to everything else it's investing in, and
with a plan towards
and it's not enough to offset the reduction in CO2 that they now have totaled, which is incredible despite their growth.
Exactly. They have passed us in making cars.
And did you see those robots?
Oh yeah. I
mean, you see those dancing robots?
I have not seen those, no.
Better than the ones we've got here, the one that that Cardi B tried to dance with and fell over with.
First of all, don't say a word about her. That's the reason I don't have my voice, is because I was screaming at a Cardi B concert.
You were there. I saw that. That seemed really fun.
It's fantastic. Her saying, "ICE better not take my fans." It was excellent. Then immediately feuding with, the Homeland Security account.
She did no wrong in my eyes.
If you can get a big crowd out and then menace ICE with it, that is what we need in this moment right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Saying we're gonna jump them anyway.
100%. That's beautiful stuff. That's patriotism.
Exactly. She is a true patriot. We love her. I mean, like
Cardi B on the Patriot movie.
Yes, exactly. I
wasn't going to go with an FDR poster, but guys, I was like this close. I was going to print out, because her favorite president is FDR. She's like, was a known Bernie bro. She like all this. She's very left. And I was going to make it all glittery and stuff, but then I didn't want to be that nerd. You know what I mean?
That seems like a lot of work. I don't think I've ever brought a poster to a concert, even as a child. So I'm not trying to make fun of you, but
I don't know. More arts and crafts might be good for everyone's anxiety levels.
Thank you, Matt.
Okay, well, I won't keep my mouth shut now. We couldn't play the music that's in this clip because it's Kid Rock. What's that dumb?
It's Ba with the Ba.
Ba with the Ba.
Does anyone know the second line of that?
No.
Okay, I just know ball with the ball.
The bang, the bang, diggy, 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 set the boogie, to up, jump, the
yes.
boogie. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
My name is Kid Rock. Yeah.
The only line I remember is chicks with beepers.
And that was...
I love a chick with a beeper. So hot. The kids are all over.
Don't worry, that line is included in the little remix medley that I've made for everybody.
Yes, so I tasked Matt with coming up with a creative solution to the fact that we can't play the Kid Rock song behind this.
Yep.
I'm very eager to see what it is.
I've been working on it the entire show.
Thank you, good sir. Best use of your time possible. And so just you could warning that there is shirtless Kid Rock and the man who I like to call a used old catcher's mitt in terms of the way that his skin appears, RFK Jr. They are shirtless. They are diving into pools. They are wearing jeans in water.
Jeans in the sauna is disgusting.
Disgusting.
Right. I mean, but like RFK Jr. really does have the guy that wears jeans to ski energy. Like, in fact, this whole administration is just guy who wears jeans on the slopes. You know what I'm saying? That kind of 80s tacky, that kind of vibe. If you know, you know.
Yeah. Here we go. This is the never nude.
Hassan posted this.
And I mean, God, at least Tobias looks like, you know, a human being. I don't, the amount of hormones in this man that is now a senior citizen cannot be healthy. Here we go. Matt's debut as a DJ. I don't hear anything. It's coming. Rock out.
Sorry, 1 second. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
You gotta go back. And also,
yep.
did you add that shark, or is that shark originally there?
No.
The video is original to the competition. I just have done the mix on the audio here. So here is this.
The Dow right now is
exactly.
over. The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming.
No, absolutely not. Look at this jerky. Oh.
This is the nuzzy. I'm distracted by the music now, but
flips
in
off
the
the camera.
sauna.
The midnight glances in the top.
Cold plunge of the jeans.
Oh.
The G's with the 40s and the chicks with beepers.
Oh God.
Just two guys and we're having a good time. Having a good time. Having a good time. Just two guys and we're having a good time. Having a good time. Having a
Young ladies,
It's also really gay. I just noticed how gay this is.
You just
Look how
noticed
gay this is.
They're drinking whole milk in a hot tub together.
Together.
That's what inspired the YMCA.
And they're doing push-ups in the sauna together.
Okay, but the Village People were not gay anthem creators. Okay, Matt. The single Village person who survives wants you to know that, and they will be playing every Trump and MAGA rally. It just
put it back up, and we'll just scroll through it without the music, if you don't mind, as we comment on it.
Was Kid Rock's legs in a cast recently?
Yeah, that's the
he
thing.
looks a little atrophied.
Oh man!
You have this gym and you look like Kid Rock.
He didn't just skip leg day. He's never walked before.
But like, okay, let me just say, as disgusting as Kid Rock is, sheer like body wise, I'm gonna go Kid Rock over
100%.
this roided up psycho.
Yes.
Like, it's so terrifying to look at that man's body. But Kid Rock is like, okay, that's a normal, I don't give an F, celebrity. It was just like, yeah, no, I have this gym, but I literally never use it. Are you kidding me?
Bobby should have the Wilson football logo branded into his back because his skin is straight up made out of a football.
Oh, it's as coarse as possible. Okay, just pause it. Look at this. This is so gay. They are about to have sex.
Yep.
In a porno. This is the I mean, there are a lot of gay pornos, I would imagine, that involve like bathhouses, saunas, that kind of thing.
You would imagine?
Where did you guys get?
I've never seen it before. But
I'm new to the sauna. Can you bring the elliptical in here?
But you've never heard, like, whose search terms are like coming like a garbage disposal, like that's what you're gonna
is there a record scratch on this orgasm? Okay,
you could just
two angles of this too.
Let it out, babe. I am.
Bring it up. Go back to the beginning. Let it out, babe. I am. Okay, go back to the beginning. I need to see how this starts. Okay, this is them working out, touching physically.
There's a bear. I mean, is that coded? Because doesn't that mean something?
It does.
Yeah, big hairy guy.
Neither of them are bears.
This is okay. So I'm sorry, but for those young people who don't know what it was to like maybe buy a porn in a store. So this was like teenager, we were like, let's go to the Green Shack in town. You're like, oh my God, the Green Shack that like totally sells like pornos. Let's go. But you go in and then you realize that pornos are insanely expensive. They're like $60 to buy a VHS.
He slaps his ass there.
So
Sorry.
you get the $12 one and you put it in, and this is what the $12 pornos look like.
This is the $12 porno. And there's a storyline too, right? Like it's not like you gotta. Right. They got to meet up. They got to work out a little bit first and then get going on the sex part.
Yeah. A little more touching. Also, my favorite is in the sauna, Kid Rock. They cut real fast away from his push-ups because how many push-ups can Kid Rock do?
We did too. Also, look at the range of motion here. Like
I don't know.
It doesn't even go 9.
Well, I mean, I think about the fact that he's on an all-meat diet. He's not really... Oh man! Oh, okay. I was wondering if he was doing push-ups on his knees at a point, like a girl.
Which no disrespect.
No, I mean, look, me. That's me. I was lifting more before the wedding, and now I'm, have lost some strength. It's unfortunate.
I was lifting more before the wedding.
Anyway, yes, this is incredibly gay.
Let's go to the grotto now.
The kicker is
what
is the whole milk. Wait.
Oh yes.
Okay, we're gonna come back to it.
Drinking milk in a hot tub is the most disgusting thing I could ever imagine.
Right.
Let's go down to the grotto and with our glasses of whole milk.
What?
They Airbnb'd like a gay porn studio for that, right?
They did.
Like, we're going to do something a little bit different than you're used to. And then it says, make America healthy again. And the idea that even if you're like, okay, this is how you get healthy. Drinking whole milk in your hot tub grotto.
Private gym.
With your private gym in your sauna. It's like, be rich, do roids, no homo. That's the slogan for this.
And I'm recalling that you did put the Olivia Nuzzi jailbait music over that. She plays a role in this as well because she sees what we just saw and was like, I'm gonna blow up my entire life for this senior citizen.
Dude, Taylor Lorenz did a really good deep dive into Nuzzi and makes me have empathy for her, but like
I know.
Yeah.
I mean,
interesting.
We're playing a song called Jailbait that she wrote and sang when she was 16. So,
Francesca, I said the exact same thing after the Adam Friedland interview with her, and Emma thought I was being
I said, of course you would.
Yeah, you're
as a man.
And I said that's not fair.
Okay.
I didn't watch that one.
It's interesting because
but she doesn't do it for me.
What do you mean it's interesting? Matt's been harboring that I in this, and so now he feels vindicated.
Talking about resuscitating Nuzzi.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to do that, but I'm just trying to understand people. Okay.
Nuzzi's rise is more annoying because you're like, you seem fairly mediocre, and you were like sleeping with your sources and everyone surrounding you. It says a lot more about like the pundit class and who gets promoted. That's what we should be annoyed about. But she obviously has untreated trauma. Why else is she like barking up every 70-year-old? Every person she's dated is like 40 years older than her. She's like groomed by Keith Olbermann. Come on.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great, but I don't want to be bummed out right now. Okay.
Did you read the poetry he wrote for her?
Oh,
speaking of being bummed out, I think we need to read.
By bummed out.
I want my rivers to fill your valley.
Oh no. I thought you meant Olbermann. I was like,
no. RFK wrote erotic poetry. It's
about spitting in her mouth.
Remember the line, Brian. We've been trying to scrub it from our memory.
Brian's got a tattoo.
For months now.
Sorry, I like poetry.
Baby, he likes the imagery of a baby bird. It's about nature.
Yes, we're not readers on the majority.
After I read the RFK poetry, I have to go to the Epstein files just as a chaser,
Right.
Just read something light.
Makes you feel a little cleaner. Social Democrat.
My last thing is just really quickly on this. I feel like Matt and Brian, this is offensive as a man, and I'm not a man, but like I'm offended by watching this because that's clearly what it's like only real men, like you could do this, I could do. This is for women. It's like women drinking rosé on a bunch of girl boss throw pillows, you know, while baking their husband bread or whatever. Like it's like that's how offensive this is.
Yeah.
And I'm not a man.
Oh no, we'd be in a much better situation as a country if the images of Brian and I were the one associated with masculinity and not these two old men.
Yeah.
Please, someone clip that.
Check out this simulcast.
I'm more offended by the fact that it's like, you know, it takes what, $10 million to be in shape? Fuck off.
Right. That's their healthcare plan.
I have to have bisexual mood lighting in my hot tub.
Yes.
just to be in shape.
There was nothing bisexual about that mood lighting. I feel like that was really hetero.
Right. How dare you? It wasn't. It was overcompensating hetero.
I've recently got into the whole sauna thing in the past year, and the idea of wearing jeans into a sauna is insane to me. I don't understand that. I don't wear flip-flops because it gets too sweaty.
That's why you jump in the cold plunge to clean them.
Ew.
That's how he cleans his jeans.
Yeah.
Because I think about this, I didn't want to get too graphic, but we know he only eats meat. He's on a meat-only diet. He's talked about that.
Oh no.
Meat and zin.
Meat and zin. His level of constipation must be.
You wish it was
that's why
constipation.
it's so red.
I'm sorry, but that's not what's happening. When
Okay,
you
I guess
eat meat.
but it would all come at once and be incredibly smelly.
Wow, Sam's not even here, and this is what we're talking about.
I'm just trying to think about what's going on in those jeans.
Well, in those jeans, that's what you should have put on top of that. Looking good in the plunge. Tell me, is there any cold cuts in those jeans?
Oh my God.
You remember how when John Wayne died, there's the theory or the myth or truth that they found like 20 pounds of undigested meat in his like colon. That's what they're gonna find.
When he eventually passes, there's no real scientific value to it because he's so weird.
I mean, he already admits he had brainworms.
But I want to know what's going on inside that car.
Imagine he ends up
man.
like fossilized, and they find his body and base the human diet off of what they find in his.
Okay,
no wonder these guys
like
went
in
extinct.
3,000 years.
We have to ensure that does not happen for the future of humanity.
His body has a half-life like greater than plutonium.
Let's put a note on his coffin saying, "Aliens, if you find this body, this is not representative of us. Do not clone this person.
Don't repopulate humanity using this guy as a model."
Yes, please.
Well, they'll know because when these people die, they will all create massive mausoleums in their honor. We know that throughout history that's been done, right? Mm-hmm. And when we do revolution, which hopefully will be before they die, but if not, we will raid and destroy all of those mausoleums, you know, a la like the terracotta soldiers in Xi'an in China. Remember all the thousands of soldiers? That was a mausoleum designated for one, king dude. And then the revolution just destroyed it. Like people just raided where they were buried. Anyway.
It makes sense because
well, we'll start with him.
RFK is sort of terracotta colored already.
Yeah,
it's very true. We'll start with him, and we'll take his carcass and tie it to the back of our car.
Throw it in a van. Dump it in Central Park.
Yeah, throw it on a bike and dump it in the park.
Right. We'll put it in
a bear in the
freezer.
That's what he would have wanted.
Yes. It's honoring him.
He would want people to eat his body, though.
Yes.
He would be like, "You should savor every piece of me."
I'm in jerky now.
Like Cheryl Hines will have to eat him. Isn't that terrifying? It's part of their
She'll act like she didn't for a while, and then she'll start talking about it on talk shows.
She goes to the will reading. He leaves her with nothing except some jerky strips of his body.
Just don't eat the hors d'oeuvres at the wake.
Oh boy, we got there.
We are gonna wrap now. No. So battle scars. Aliens will evacuate RFK Jr. and think they discovered the missing link. Dow to the Dow says my jeans are poo.
That's pretty much what Emma said.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh my god, my hair is being so annoying and in front of
but
my
it
face.
looks great today.
Oh, thank you. I'm
You're
doing
welcome.
I mentioned I'm doing that show Doom Scroll, so I decided to, put a tiny bit of effort in today.
Which I love that you're sort of openly admitting. Like for my show, no.
Yeah.
For
no,
someone
please.
else's,
Yes, exactly. That's should be understood in this office. Meg MCA, China's dancing robots are impressive, but even more, so is the robot that kicks people in the nuts.
Did you see that? There's I'll find that clip.
Okay. The one I don't know what you're talking about. Yep. Okay. Tucker's Bed Demon, sorry. With liberal women this smart and hot, can we start calling this segment Chicks with Beepers? Sure.
Yes.
But
thanks for reading my IM.
This is what the IMer was referring to. I'm not sure where this is, but this is a robot training facility, and you have a robot sort of mimicking the actions of this guy on the left here, and hilarity ensues.
Oh boy.
Oh! Wait, go back. Go back.
Wait. Did he just imitate him also getting hit in the nuts after he did it?
Because it's just following what he's doing.
He has empathy. He has empathy.
Make China healthy again.
I mean, the best was that guy who was working was it a Tesla event, and he took the headset off, and then the robot mimicked taking the headset off, and then just collapsed.
Oh, yes. I remember that one. Is This Me says Emma's about to do a read for Tushy in the fun half.
You wear jeans all the time and have a weird diet.
Mike from Bavaria, a cadaver synod for RFK Jr. sounds rad. Future reactionary, I'm dubious of this new anti-dentine and telephobic direction.
Dentite. It's Seinfeld. It's Seinfeld
okay, and telephobic direction Emma's moving in. It's the beginning of her Casternian. Too many.
Man, we got
that's way too much.
Erudite IMers going
yes,
on
right.
today.
It's one pun per sentence.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's kind of the rule.
I can't process that quickly enough. I want to just I guess let's just do this here. So in Michigan, there is a really important primary race happening for Senate. Abdul Al-Sayed is the no-brainer candidate that we should be supporting. Medicare for all, Bernie endorsed within probably like 2 seconds of Abdul announcing his candidacy. They co-wrote a book together, which I have actually on Medicare for all. And then you have Mallory McMorrow, who is considered to be the like middle ground candidate, but I think she's quite bad. We've played that clip of her repeatedly that Sam couldn't get over, rightfully so, where she advocated against Medicare for all by saying, you don't want to have Trump be involved in charge of your health care, meaning like, so you don't want there to be any social programs because Trump would be involved in taking in charge of that.
Yeah,
it's absolutely insane.
No, I want capitalists to be in charge of it.
Right.
Thank you.
Such a cynical argument that we've I think done now 3 clips on.
But a creative one.
Bad.
I mean, you got to hand it to them at least to like give something new rather than like how are we going to pay for it? Now they're just sort of using it again as to do another Orange Man bad, which we all know. So I'm like,
right.
you know,
It was at least a creative way to be a cynical Democrat, because the third candidate here, who initially was the darling of the Democratic Party apparatus, Chuck Schumer, was gung-ho for Haley Stevens. I mean, she jumped in the race really quickly. What'd you say?
Gillibrand too. It's interesting how these New York Democrats have such interest in other races, but can't get around to like endorsing in New York mayoral primary.
Well, I mean, Gillibrand is the head of the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee. A huge problem, given the fact that she is one of the most corrupted Democrats by crypto and by Israel money in all of the entire Senate. So they've been propping up this candidate, Haley Stevens, but she's falling apart because she took a boatload of AIPAC money before she realized it might be politically toxic. She's trying to distance herself from that a little bit, but the Israel lobby is all in for her in this race. And she's also deeply uncharismatic and politically untalented. Here's an example of her here talking about female ICE agents.
Oh boy. No, there are female leadership here. There's female leadership, and there are women who walked with us today and explained on the intake process how important it is to treat people with humanity. And that obviously really stuck out to me, because some of the things that we are witnessing before our eyes in our neighborhoods, in our streets, is really a lack of humanity. There's been...
So, as no need to abolish ICE, as long as we put the women Gestapo out there, maybe they'll use pink handcuffs.
This is my fight song. Like that's, I feel like she was about to just bring out a boombox. This is my ICE song. That's exactly right. Did she do like a ride along with female ICE agents? Because that's what this sounds like.
She says the intake process. I mean, she might be referring to ICE prison guards who can
detention center.
Yeah, they can also girl boss, and you can wear high heels at the concentration camp.
This is incredible. I mean, that's sort of where Democrats are headed with ICE reforms, is like, well, as long as you have some more inclusive advertisements like the U.S. military, we would be okay with what you're doing. And as long as the internal culture, is cleaned up just a little bit. This is, you know who else are majority women are immigrants. Majority women, the working class in the United States. Majority women, the daycare providers that are now being, attacked and threatened by right-wing psychos and neo-Nazis for supposed fraud. So it's just incredible what kind of solidarity some Democrats want to express with which kind of women. Obviously, it's always women in uniform or white women, but spare no thought for all the women who've been shot at and murdered. Most recently, a woman killed in her car because of ICE recklessness.
And, maybe though, I think you're being a little unfair, Francesca. Maybe Haley Stevens has a point because, ICE is under the umbrella of the Department of Homeland Security. And if we had a woman as the head of the Department of Homeland Security, systemically, all of this stuff would go away.
Karen.
Oh, wait, Kristi Noem's a woman. Forgot.
Oh, yeah, what just happened the other day? This was in Minnesota. February 12th, so not even a week ago. Minnesota family says female ICE agents faked car trouble to lure a mechanic out of his home so they could arrest him. Here's some of that female ingenuity, humanizing ICE so they can kidnap more people. Security captured two women pulling up by the curbside, pop in the bonnet of their car, head down the driveway, knock on the door, and return with Jesus Flores.
What? Not starting. They didn't like.
1 minute later, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. That's what Haley Stevens is defending.
This is so sick.
It's like a mob hit.
Yes.
That's how they operate. They operate like organized crime. They operate like gangs.
Trump is a organized crime boss.
Yes.
Like we have had our institutions taken over by criminals.
And I mean, it's how he operates on his foreign policy too. I mean, in Venezuela, Right now, he's basically. I mean, I'm not even sure how we can restore Venezuelan sovereignty, because like it seems like the plan is for the foreseeable future, he's gonna operate in a way that is just like we're gonna put a almost literal gun to the head of Delcy Rodriguez and call the shots, and that's how a mob boss would do it.
I mean, which is only like internally going to make things even harder for the people of Venezuela. There's not even sort of like a nod or a hat tip or an idea of how to alleviate, like, you know, the currency crisis or, you know, what's now flowing into the country, because have sanctions officially been dropped? Like, it doesn't seem like that's even part of the calculation with Venezuela at all.
Right. It's just theft. Automat Lex says, are we really doing the genocide but with women meme?
Hey, it's the Democrats.
Polymark says, girl boss Tepo. Like Gestapo.
He was really avoiding feminazi.
Yes. Feminazi's right there. I mean, that can be the legacy of... that was
the real
Limbaugh, right?
feminazis.
That was Limbaugh. These are the actual feminazis. Hakeem's dead maker Elias. I mean, gosh, Mac, whatever. This is my ice song. Let's be my nice, my let's be nice song. That's very good. I'm trying to figure out. Oh, mackerel eyes? Mackerel. Hakeem's dead mackerel eyes. All right.
But he does have dead mackerel eyes.
It does. Might be easier to say fish.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Mackerel.
I don't know what that means, a mackerel.
I don't know if mackerel eyes are any different than other fish, though, so I got to look that up.
It just made it so much harder for me to parse, but that's okay. Sucking off the system says, girl boss gatekeep genocide.
But this is the thing. It's like Democrats are really poised to just do this all over again, no matter what candidate, no matter what issue. It's like, you know, this is another excuse for we will be hearing the following excuse when we say abolish ICE and when a candidate runs on abolish ICE. What about the jobs? It's what they say when it comes to the private healthcare industry as well. Well, what about the jobs? People will lose jobs. Yes, all the, you know, fucking, you know, all the collectors and stuff, the debt collectors will be losing those call center jobs to harass you. Like, ooh, that sucks. Like, what about all the mail that won't go through the USPS, reminding people of how much they owe?
Right.
But that's sort of what the Democrats are on about again.
And, you know, I actually asked Abdul Al-Sayed about that question because that's often what's lofted at people who support Medicare for all. And his point is that in his plan, a lot of those people would be able to like play a role in the healthcare sector. You're still going to need administrators of a Medicare for all system.
Precisely.
So it's just taking it out of the hands of these private cartels that are that are just needless middlemen in between you and your healthcare. And needless is too anodyne to describe it. They're rapacious and they
parasitical.
Parasitical. Let's do the number 10, just because this is nuts. Used to work with this guy, Michael Tracy, for a little bit. If you're not familiar with him, you're probably...
Was this a DYT?
He was a part of the reporting drive. Yes, another one. And, you know, at the time, I kind of felt bad for him because he was pretty socially awkward. But he was a bit of a contrarian.
Still is.
Yeah. His whole thing was being a contrarian. And so, like, if you don't know who he is, you've probably touched grass, and that's a good thing. But he's in the news because his contrarian nature has taken him to being the lead smearer of Epstein survivors. Now, I'll say that this is a bit of a through line with him. Michael Tracy, I'm just going to put this out. He's got an issue with women. It's pretty apparent. It was apparent when in my interactions with him. It was apparent because he lost his job at Vice initially for doxing Lena Dunham because he was angry about her Hillary support and proved that she didn't vote in the New York primary or something like that, and ended up posting her address. Ooh. Which, okay, I think like that was one of, you know, how he got onto the scene. TYT hired him after that. And Yes.
That's a great origin story, though. I doxed Lena Dunham.
I mean, but like, and then the other thing was when he claimed Maxine Waters assaulted him, which was when we were at the TYT together, and it was a really embarrassing moment because it was obvious that it didn't happen. Another woman that upsets him and
Isn't
causes
she like
problems.
80?
Yes, yes, it was very embarrassing.
It's called battle testing.
Yeah. So this is how he makes waves on the internet. But really right now, his latest jag is just smearing the Epstein survivors. He did an interview last week that I saw with Barry Weiss's The Free Press's Coleman Hughes. Remember that guy? He's what, Manhattan Institute or right-wing think tank person.
He's a Zionist plant that, for instance, got paid by Barry Weiss to talk about how it's completely not appropriate to compare Israel to South Africa, and he owns this
and
because
he's a black man, so
Yeah, exactly.
he's paid by Barry Weiss
with like no expertise on anything other than that people like Barry Weiss thought he'd be good to hire, which tells me everything I need to know about Coleman Hughes.
Exactly.
Personally.
And so in that conversation, I saw the title of it. I didn't watch it, but it was called "Separating Fact from Moral Panic in the Epstein Case." Here he is on Piers Morgan, and this is Tara Palmieri, who's become, I think she's independent now as a journalist, and they have this interaction where she asks him straight up, "Are you being paid by someone associated with Epstein?" And I won't spoil how this goes.
I'm hearing a lot of conspiracy theories, but they're all coming out of your mouth. Let me give the final word to Tara because he
what
keeps.
conspiracy theory did I postulate?
He keeps when he's not lecturing.
Can we
when he's not lecturing.
Michael, good job dressing up for the occasion, buddy.
You still look way too greasy and wet.
Very wet.
Like,
Yep. Anyway, keep going.
Lecturing me about my interview skills. He's lecturing you about your journalistic skills. So your response to that and to what David Boyes had to say.
Please, Tara, go ahead, defend it.
I don't know, Michael. Have you ever actually listened to any of the tapes at the Palm Beach, the police in Palm Beach, the detective? Have you listened to any of the girls that they interviewed that were as young as 14? I've listened to them all. Yeah, and you think that they're not
listened
credible?
to it all, Tara.
You don't think that entire pyramid scheme in a high school?
Do you think Virginia Robisque is credible? She had nothing to do with that initial Palm Beach investigation. We're talking about your former journalistic collaborator who had to recant allegations against Dershowitz, had to recant her allegations against
let her speak, please.
Harvard professor, Stephen Koslin, recanted against
Jean-Luc
Brunel. So you defend the credibility
let her speak or I'll cut your mic.
of your journalistic collaborator. Go ahead.
Do you work? Who do you work for, Michael? Because I've never met anyone in my entire life who would who's paying you? Who do you work for? I think a lot of people are wondering this because I've never seen anyone quite like you going after victims of sex crimes and attacking them like this. So you must be being paid by someone in power who does not like these accusations that have been made against them. And I think it's fair to ask, are you being paid by any of the men who've been accused by Jeffrey Epstein?
I'm having trouble hearing right now. I wish I could respond to whatever nonsense she just blurted out.
I'm asking you if you have ever been paid by any of the men who have been accused of crimes.
Maybe somebody can
an astonishing coincidence that you suddenly lost your hearing when you were asked a very difficult question. And rather telling, I may say.
I heard it.
Okay, I'm not saying you didn't get cut. I'm just saying.
If he can hear you, can you ask him that question? Because he can't hear me, but maybe he can hear you asking that question.
Yeah, I think it's a Michael, can you hear me?
Did you
can
just,
you hear me, Michael?
I can hear you very faintly. Did you just allege that I'm somehow implicated in the Epstein criminality, or did I mishear you?
I asked if you were being
Tara
paid
asked
by
if you're
anyone.
Tara asked if you're being paid by anybody to smear the victims of the Epstein
rather than
scandal.
defend the merits of her journalistic output, which she can't because it's indefensible, what does she do? She tries to impugn me personally, tries to imply or
you're not
allege
what's the answer to the question?
Of course I'm not being paid by anyone.
I'm so glad we let that run. So Matt hadn't seen that and you were shocked.
I think he's lying. Just if I had to guess.
So does Piers Morgan.
It's a coincidence he stopped hearing her at that particular moment.
I don't think so, man. Look at Michael Tracy. He's doing this for the love of the game. He hates women, all right? Like, you know,
well,
Jessica
it's a chicken
in
or egg
grade
situation. Like,
didn't
if you
pay him attention, didn't give him a Valentine's Day card back. You know, he's he's little Ralphie. He's grown up little Ralphie. And here he is as an independent journalist. And this is the thing about like people like Michael Tracy is like someone has to have this lane. Some piece of shit has to say all of these women and victims are lying. And, you know, obviously there can only be one Alan Dershowitz, but who's also saying similar things.
But we don't know where his funding is coming. He's a so-called independent journalist. I mean, there's no oversight about that.
Well, I told Emma this morning, but I think he looks like he's not being paid by anybody at all.
Those resources may be going.
He's
elsewhere.
acting as if he is part of the Alan Dershowitz style conspiracy. Like here's an old clip from a Palm Beach Post. Famed Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz met with Palm Beach County State Attorney's Office and provided damaging information about teenage girls who they say gave his client, Palm Beach billionaire Jeffrey Epstein, sexually charged massages, according to police. The case originally was going to be presented to the grand jury in February, but was postponed after Dershowitz produced information gleaned from the website myspace.com showing some of the alleged victims commenting on alcohol and marijuana use. So this whole thing of and it's very interesting that Tracy mentions Dershowitz by name. I'd be curious, do you have any association with Alan Dershowitz?
Yeah.
This thing that Tracy's doing is the playbook that has been used by these folks the entire time, which is to go after the women who, by the way, were targeted because they might have certain. I guess there's a tweet here by Tracy himself, put it up by a guy, Bryce Green, where he says, Courtney Wild, the alleged Epstein victim, was convicted of trafficking methamphetamine, absconded from a residential drug treatment facility, and was arrested again for stealing from Walmart. That's the type of women that they targeted.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Or girls.
Right.
Girls
women who needed the money.
Yeah, who like issues with crime or poverty for that second.
100%.
For that while. And that they did it for exactly this reason. Because they know that they can get their slimy ass lawyers and media associates to smear them so that they never seek justice. What Tracy's doing is one of the grossest things you can see in this profession.
Because this is well documented. Palm Beach is very, very wealthy. Ghislaine Maxwell and her associates would go over to West Palm, where it's a lot more impoverished and lower income. And they would drive around and look for girls, and they created a pyramid scheme. And this was just in Palm Beach, just in Florida, let alone what he did internationally with some of these women from Eastern Europe, let alone what he did in New York, let alone what he did in New Mexico, let alone what he did in European countries. We have no idea what like the full scale of this is.
Yes.
And I think that Tara's question was phenomenal, and I didn't expect him to be so poorly prepared to answer it, which I can't hear you. Suddenly couldn't hear. It's very convenient, and even outside of the Epstein story and how disgusting it is what Tracy is doing, I think it's opens up a lot of questions about so-called independent media and how influential it's become, and how billionaires and others have noticed that very fact. Like,
and
there's.
Easy it is to like pay him off. Like it would be so easy, right? Like Peter Thiel or Musk could just give him a few $100,000.
It's cheap. It's way cheaper than corrupting more traditional media sources, and probably more effective because the demographics that they're trying to reach are disproportionately online. We learned this with Tim Pool, where he was getting paid, and Dave Rubin, hundreds of thousands of dollars from some sort of like front for Russian money. And now, very conveniently, Tim Pool has been cozying up to the Israel lines. And we know from reporting that the Israeli government and lobby is paying influencers money to parrot certain talking points. I would not be shocked if he is one of those people. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Like, we have no idea. We have always known that right-wing media in particular, the Daily Wire and other companies, right-wing media companies, are subsidized by billionaires and wealthy people and get off the ground. And they probably take financial losses just because it's more valuable for them to have right-wing media out there being subsidized. But I don't think we have any sense of the scale of how right-wing media is subsidized, or billionaire money is subsidizing these so-called independent creators, because they're on their own, and that's cheaper than throwing tens of millions of dollars into the Daily Wire, for example. You could probably pay Michael Tracy $500K for the year, and that's more than he would make on his Substack in quite a while, and you get him to smear all the Epstein survivors. That's like buying a soda for a billionaire.
100%. And I think the other thing to know is that mainstream news has also kind of dropped the ball covering the Epstein files. There's a lot of it. We don't know how dedicated the journalists, if there even is like dedicated teams to sort through it. We haven't seen a lot of that. And so a lot of people do turn, myself included, to like, you know, Twitter or other social media. And like myself, I've done content on the Epstein files, right? Because that was also part of the rationale for just kind of releasing the files with, you know, completely no organization, completely no understanding, completely no, you know, table of contents or like, you know, mapping all the different places. Obviously, they didn't even, you know, censor victims' faces and names and all this. And so that's part of it. It's just like flood the zone, let anyone pick out any random thing, because your average viewer or reader, your average person is not going to be reading all the millions and millions of files that, of course, they've even stopped releasing at this point.
Exactly right. Francesca Fiorentini, we shall let you go here. I just saw it's nearly 2 o'clock, but time flies when you're having fun. A reminder, come to our live show if you're in California, March 22nd, the Bitchuation Room Live. I will be there. In,
Dynasty Typewriter.
Dynasty Typewriter. Link is down below, so people can click on it, buy tickets. It's, you know, $30 plus a fee, right?
Yes, plus a fee. But you know, Emma's got a crazy rider, so like it was a lot.
Yeah.
She needs 5 white jackets to choose from.
She's swapping them out between segments.
Just in case.
Yeah, no, and
I need
hopefully
Mother
it'll
Pearl
be
cream.
We're going to be highlighting some local, you know, lefty candidates, progressive candidates that are going up against, you know, centrist and MAGA folks here in LA. So please come out and learn about those candidates as well and those campaigns and get involved. And yeah, check out the Bitchuation Room too, because I think Emma's going to be stopping by a little bit more frequently.
Ooh, yes, a little bit. Good teaser there, Francesca. Well, I don't know why it came out like that.
Because you were going to stop at Fran and then remembered that I don't like it.
Yes, I was.
You're doing a Mario impression.
Francesca, hey! I don't really play video games at all, but I did just start playing Mario Kart, and it's very fun. I'm having fun with it. Now I'm getting competitive. I know. Well,
what's Mario Kart up to now?
I went to an all-girls school. What?
Like, what are they doing? Like, are you playing it on like a N64?
I'm playing it on my husband's Switch. Yeah. And so now maybe I'll get into like actual games that aren't just, you know, like a little car game. So
for children.
Yeah, for children.
Went to an all-girls school and is an excuse for not getting into video games, but is deeply into sports. All by themselves.
That's just me being a little gay.
I like this. Thank you guys.
It's not a joke. It's Jess from Michigan. Anybody who has read about serial predators know that. Oh wait, no, I wanted to read one for you. Felonious Monk, FFU Rock says, but we have Noah from Tampa. I will be there. By Skateable says, tickets acquired. Looking forward to seeing the gang. Sickle Up Economy says, come east for a show, Francesca.
I will.
Eventually. So we've got a few in the audience. All right. Appreciate you, Francesca. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right. See you soon. Later. Can we just go to a break really quick because my earpiece is driving me insane and I need to fix it.
Who's Michael Tracy now?
Yeah. We are back, folks. I fixed my earpiece. All should be well. What are you laughing at? Okay. Okay. I know what you're laughing at. Okay, so Dave Rubin wants to go to Mars, apparently. I say go for it, buddy.
Your entire dreams for the future are dictated by venture capitalists. You're leading yourself into some disappointment, it turns out.
I would agree with that. I have no desire to go into space. I'm all about improving Earth. And two, it's just like, dang, I mean, what is it worth it? You could die out there and just get completely crushed, and I don't know.
We'll talk about that on the other side of this, because I got a lot of opinions on how, I mean, frankly, broken your soul has to be to want to colonize Mars as an individual. Because guess what? There's no Paris up there.
Because also, we know why Elon talks about colonizing Mars, because he knows it's not happening, and he's trying to get investor money. And so it's the self-driving cars, Teslas, are right around the corner. Oh wait, they aren't, and like they're killing people. Oh, we're going to Mars. Invest more and more in SpaceX.
Turns out we're going to the moon now. He's backed off on Mars.
Yeah, we won't do that either.
Well, right. But they're not going to do that either, probably. And I guess that's central here to this conversation between Dave Rubin and.
This is more of a plea than a conversation.
Oh,
this is from
compilation of him begging to be in the In Club.
This is from our good friends over at the DRC archive, which sounds like a I don't know, old think tank, but it's actually a Dave Rubin Clips archive, which is to say it's a think tank. Here is a ideas tank. Here is Dave Rubin. Oh yeah, sorry.
Like telling Elon, oh, well, no one's ever done it before. No one's ever successfully launched a third party. Well, that would make him want to do it more. He's the man who does the impossible, right? In my lifetime, that guy is going to get humans on Mars. And then, as I said yesterday, then we'll start 3D printing rockets on Mars, and we'll go further than that and further than that. Oh my God, you're not going to believe this. Elon Musk just took us to Mars. Hot diggity damn. And you know what? From Mars, we're going to build a space station on Mars, and then from there, we're going to have 3D printing and a whole bunch of stuff, and then we're going to build rockets on Mars, and we're going to get to Saturn. And there's so many amazing things. And he's trying to make life interplanetary. We're going to go.
The only reason I'd want to go to Mars is to escape my student debt. There's a great. Go ahead.
Just what does he want to do on Saturn? Just float around? Yeah. I don't even understand.
I mean, you can't go onto Saturn.
No.
I mean, there's no, I think, surface. It's all a gas. It's a gaseous planet.
It's a gas giant.
It's a gas giant.
Gaseous giant. There's a great.
I'm gonna skateboard the rings.
There's a great story by Edgar Allan Poe, which is about hot air balloons and how they're kind of a new thing. And the whole thing is the guy who tells the story is like, I'm making this hot air balloon so I can escape my creditors. And I feel like that's the only reason. It's the really only reason a lot of these guys want to go to Mars.
I mean, isn't that why the Wizard of Oz went to Oz in the first place? Wasn't he a ne'er-do-well back on Earth in Kansas, and he escaped? Oh, really? Yes, so that's literally the premise of that movie.
All right, let's hear some more of this prognostications.
Amazing things. And he's trying to make life interplanetary. We're going to go to Mars and build a colony, and then from that colony, probably with 3D printers and AI, we will build other rockets, and then we'll go further than that. And you can see it just keeps going. It's all pretty cool. Everything that I've said about Elon for the last year. Cool. Yeah, he bought Twitter to open up free speech. Yeah, he's sending us to Mars. He's digging the tunnels underground. He's got paraplegics playing chess with their mind and all that stuff. Pretty sure I can message Elon and get on a flight to Mars. So we'll be okay, and I'll get you guys on too. Obviously, I'll take care of the people I know. And any of you.
Wait, hold on. Then I just remembered. Take care of the people you know. You have children, buddy. How bad is life at home that you want to go to Mars instead of hang out with your toddler?
That is what Mars is going to be. It's a bunch of deadbeat dads.
Yeah, exactly.
People in debt and deadbeat dads.
No child support payments being made from Mars.
I'm going to get some Martian cigarettes. I'll be right back.
This is pretty pathetic. Keep going.
To come with us too. Like in terms of the travel part of it, are they going to knock you out? Are you sleeping for a portion of it? Do they put you under like in an Alien movie and cryo sleep and all that? But putting aside the details, I always think it's hilarious that the same people who think
he's excited about being knocked out. Just get the Michael Jackson shit, buddy.
I'll get to sleep for 3 years and I'll wake up with no children.
A whole new life where no one's there. I mean, if he was, well, I shouldn't say this on there. Keep going. I was about to make a joke, a little dark. Keep going.
That the Earth is going to end or human life is going to end because of climate change in 6 years are also so hateful to the guy who's trying to get us to Mars, where maybe we could continue this operation. That he really has plans to not only get us to Mars, but to make this country better. We are back. We are going to be great again. We're going to go to Mars. We'll have more on that in just a second. Go watch Interstellar. When the shit hits the fan, we're going to have to get some ships up there, and we're going to have to find some better places to live. You know, if you haven't seen it, I hope you've seen them.
Better places than Earth.
There's no.
I don't even want to live in Arizona because it's too Marsy.
Well, look, maybe he's just been in Florida for too long, and he's realizing how bleak that place is.
But that's the thing. Like, I was big into astronomy in college until I realized how much math it takes. But I love talking, like listening to Neil deGrasse Tyson or Carl Sagan,
Right.
more sure-footed. The whole Mars thing has always been bullshit. It's always been a lie told by our capitalist class to distract people from real things. Like, I don't know. Here's a eco news. Speaking of the future, that's a headphone advertisement. Now all of a sudden, what happened? High speed. China unveils the fastest bullet train ever built, reaching speeds of 450 kilometers an hour in tests. There's an opportunity cost for this stupid bullshit that we're talking about all the time. About how a billionaire who needs to pay off flight attendants that he had harassed with horse offers of having given them a horse. These Epstein class folks have driven America into ruin. It hasn't completely shown up yet, but our auto industry is now being outcompeted by a Chinese one. As like we talked about in the first half, they have slowed their emissions down to be basically flat.
Declining.
Exactly. And you have them building high-speed rail, actual things that Elon Musk only talks about, like the whole digging holes underground, the Hyperloop. Oh, remember the Hyperloop? Where the fuck is that at? Oh, it turns out it's just an advertisement for Teslas that you can put under municipal areas. These are lies that are having a real impact in driving America behind by these guys who they don't care, because guess what? They have enough money. They don't care about this country. They care about the wild parties going on in the Caribbean because their Christmas is a little bit fucking lonely. And we're like, I don't know. Like, how about healthcare? How about student loans? Instead, we're talking about maybe in 2032 I'll be able to go to Mars. No, you won't. If we try to go to Mars, you'll get cancer from space radiation on the trip there. And then if you get there, there's nothing fucking there.
Yeah.
It's a desert.
Right.
There's no society. What are you going to do?
But they are anti-society. The reason that it's being pushed by the billionaires is because this is the same billionaire class that builds their bunkers so they don't have to see anybody and only wants human beings around to service them. I mean, this is why they are the true aliens. We're worried about frickin' UFOs. These guys are legitimately, and I say guys, aliens. Aliens. They don't have a shared connection to our humanity. They don't believe in humanity. They want to escape it. And they pretend like it's going to be Mars or the moon because they want to raise more money. But they're already escaping it. They're escaping the climate catastrophe by fortifying their mansions and building these underground bunkers legitimately. And they're literally taking what they can as the rest of us bear the consequences.
And it takes, with modern technology, you're in half a year at a good pace. And you can only go certain times of the year when the cycles, orbits sync up.
Right.
To go to, again, a rock with what? Like a big hangar with climate control in it? Like, there's going to be nothing there. This is a stupid fantasy.
But stupid people fall for it. That's the thing.
And the problem is, like, that's what governs our political economy now, is the stupidity of investors. So yeah, we can get all these people who should be taxed more, the people who should be paying for, like, say, the budget shortfalls in major municipal cities. Instead, we decide, oh no, they need the extra money because they know how to allocate capital. And what they end up doing is giving it to these fucking charlatans so they can blow it up their nose and talk about spacemen all the time. Meanwhile, China is directing this stuff, not for the global communist revolution, but for their nation, the thing that America pretends that they're doing. And you know what? As a national sort of competitiveness goes, we're being blown out of the water.
Oh, it's not even close. And I mean, what they laid like something like in a decade or so, the entire a much larger, say, like interstate highway system than we had when in the 50s when we built ours out.
Yep.
And they're able to do that because of their state capacity.
The same reason we were able to do it, which is our powerful state post New Deal.
Wait, post New Deal, and then also post World War II in terms of like the industrialization. And I mean, it's amazing to me how, you know, Republicans my whole lifetime and the neoliberal era, right, from the 70s on, they decried centralized state government and they completely gutted it. But they gutted the parts that would benefit everybody, the parts that are about surveillance and counterterrorism and militarism. They built that out and have like actually a ton of ability to use the power at their disposal, as we're seeing with Donald Trump. Like what the U.S. has state capacity for is militarism, imperialism, surveillance, police state stuff. What China has the capacity for is massive industrialization. And then we finger wag about how not free they are over there. It's a question of priorities. And the stuff that had been hollowed out by Republicans in terms of our state, that is exactly what left our country vulnerable to Trump and to an autocrat like him.
It's good at Myers.
Oh, I mean, but man, what a loser.
You're already there, you fucking losers.
Right. Wow.
I like the idea that we could destroy Earth, which again, like, almost so tailored to humanity's needs that it's like probably the best argument for a divine creator.
Right.
And what we're actually going to do, and these are the religious guys. Like, I mean, Elon Musk is even talking about being Christian, I think recently, or like being a lot of, we're gonna go on Mars and somehow not despoil that the same way.
I mean, Elon's pivot to Christianity coming after the Epstein files or in and around them is pretty hilarious. I mean, there's a lot of sometimes a pivot to religiosity is a substitute for therapy, which would require introspection and maybe like changing, because you could just go to church and be absolved of your sins, but have to do no work about it. It's kind of convenient.
They all do it. Russell Brand did it.
Yep.
Every single one of them.
Nixon aide Charles Colson, who played it was basically Nixon's hatchet man who had to resign for Watergate, was one of the guys who wanted to like break in for Ellsberg's office. He went born again Christian after that.
Okay. There you go.
It's like patriotism is a refuge for scoundrels.
Yep. Haunting Spectre. So glad you guys are China maxing today. It's been 75 years since the miracle of the Chinese Revolution. At the time, Chairman Mao predicted it would take about 15 separate 5-year plans to catch up and eventually overtake the United States as a world economic powerhouse. 15 times 5 is 75, and now here we are. Just more proof that Marxist-Leninism, when applied. Dialectical materialism is the eternal science of everything. Any Western leftist denying this, or worse, repeating the U.S. State Department lies about China, are ultimately serving finance, capital, imperialism, and the Epstein class.
Yeah, I mean, you can be critical of China while understanding that they are absolutely destroying us when it comes to production.
Exactly. I mean,
and also a lot of the State Department complaints about them ring a little bit hollow after the State Department broke the law to let Israel do a genocide of Palestinians.
It's very thought negating, and it's purposeful on that front. Even there are 100% valid criticisms of China, but the ones that come from Western think tanks are the ones we're talking about.
Say Israel's treatment of the Palestinians makes China's treatment of Muslims, which, by the way, they joined in with our war on terror stuff in the 2000s. It makes it look tame.
Ryan from Rochester, the only thing valuable about space is finding raw materials, growing food in cubic space, and harvesting solar wind energy.
Yeah, and also the ROI on that is we're not even close to like having that be productive. It'll take a massive amount of investment from a state, and investors thinking that they're going to be able to do it are fools.
Hat brackets. I don't think he got to the end of Interstellar. They literally had to use fantastical physics to survive. I think you're being generous in calling the fifth dimension is love physics. Truly.
That's the truth.
I hate that movie so much. I hate Nolan's writing so much.
I love his scoring though.
Yeah,
I do love that.
The visuals. I like Interstellar, and I like I like Inception, and that's kind of stupid, but at least it's like fun. And Interstellar was stupid. I didn't even really like Oppenheimer, but and it's just God. Can you just? He needs a consultant on how to write women, like really badly. All right, I'm getting sidetracked. Bingo. So y'all can't be saying Mario Kart is a kid's game. I didn't say it. Matt did. Why don't you go back to playing Harry Potter, buddy? Sorry.
First of all, I don't. Not playing that. And also, the Switch is, I don't know. Look, I'm going to play some Link after that, or whatever it's called. Zelda.
The Sunset Lake PhD. This is my fight song. No human rights song. Put up no fight song. My brain's turned off. Graham Page.
The song has a line called "My Power's Turned On."
Oh God.
My power's turned.
My power's turned on. Graham Page. Michael Tracy got beat up by Maxine Waters. Yes, I do like that revisionist history. But that's funny. It's because it's what he claimed.
Who beat up?
He claimed that Maxine Waters hit him, and then video
Got
came
physical
out,
with
and,
him.
and a video came out, and it completely disproved what he said. She's an elderly
Yeah, I know
woman.
who she is.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
It's very funny.
Sorry to woman's plain. Evan from Portland. If Emma starts playing Madden, we won't see her for a few months. I did try my hand at that back in the day, but I never. It's
the exact same as whenever you played it.
Yeah, it's really not. I'm not drawn to playing games. I don't know why. I never got into the habit of it, but
As somebody who plays a lot of video games, unless you're doing something like watching documentaries on another screen or listening to a book, it's tough to put in too much time into them without feeling like you're wasting your life.
I just want to get off my phone. Like I just want to get off my phone and scrolling through Instagram basically, but not working that well. Okay, let's we didn't do this yesterday, the Randy Fine thing. I want to do it just because we have what number is this? And I got to run at 2:30 to get to the doom scroll thing. So wait, what number is this? Why can't I find it?
At least on yesterday's.
Oh, it's 6. It's 6 and 7. Yeah. 7 and then... No, we'll do 6 and then 7 because it sets it up. So Randy Fine, representative from Florida, Republican, major Zionist. His whole brand is just being as racist as possible to Muslim people. And supporting, of course, the genocide. He's... Now that we're using these stupid terms, he's APAC maxing, basically. This is the tweet that he was responding to. So he saw this tweet from this random, it's a tongue-in-cheek post by this Palestinian activist.
So obviously a joke.
It's so obviously a joke.
Raging bigot.
Yes. She posted this. Finally, NYC is coming to Islam. Dogs definitely have a place in society, just not as indoor pets. Like we've said all along, they are unclean. So it's a tongue-in-cheek joke about like how I'm sure there's dog poop on the side of the road in New York.
It's a conversation around the snow has really highlighted.
It has. People think that the snow is going to dissolve the poop that they leave there instead of picking it up for their dog. So she's making a remark on that.
There's a lot of stuff around dogs, especially post-COVID. A lot of people got dogs, and they're not taking care of them. And I honestly, I'm a cat person. I would not own a dog in New York City unless I had a massive property, because I just feel bad to keep them inside all the time. And also there's clearly a scale we're getting where there's so many dog owners that aren't cleaning up after their dogs when they take them out. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
You just need Prospect Park. You don't need massive property.
Well,
I bring my dog there every day.
There you go. There you go.
Well, you clean up after them, I assume, too.
I definitely do.
Except for when the magical snow takes care of it for you, right?
For me, it's all the people that got them basically because they were stuck inside in 2000 and didn't realize how big of a
2020.
commitment it was.
Yeah.
2020, yeah.
Yeah, right. How big? I mean, there's truth to that. But regardless of that point, it was clearly a stupid joke, or not even stupid. It was a good, fine joke, remark, whatever, from a random person, but not to Randy Fine, because God forbid a Muslim person makes a joke. This is how he reacted to it.
You've taken some recent heat over an X post where you responded to a major New York City Muslim leader who suggested that we have to give up our dogs because, quote, NYC is coming to Islam. You responded, quote, if they force us to choose the choice between dogs and Muslims, it's not a difficult one. Now, you've since doubled down on a series of posts. Democratic Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, one of many who called this...
I'm sorry, I didn't know that she was like that well known or whatever, this person. But she's an activist, and I guess she was involved in the encampment protests. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry.
Pro-Palestine activist. That's why Randy Fine is so sensitive.
Okay, I gotcha. I thought it was just a random person, but I mean, still, regardless, doesn't make any sense. It's clearly a joke. This is who he's responding to.
It's one of many who called this, quote, one of the most disgusting statements she'd ever seen. Congressman, I'd like to just give you an opportunity to respond to the Congresswoman there.
Well, I appreciate that. Look, here's my view. It's not enough for Democrats to think anyone who wants to come here illegally should be able to do that. They also think they should be able to get whatever free stuff they want. Now they're demanding that we change our values and how we live as Americans. My post was in response to a major Muslim leader saying dogs should be forbidden from New York City because to some Muslims it bothers them. Well, if they're going to make us choose between our dogs and them going home, the choice is easy, and people should know Democrats like AOC are saying we are going to get rid of your dogs. Americans need to keep that in mind when they go to vote in November.
Yeah, it's really just a wild concept to think that people would have to actually give up their pets.
It is a wild concept.
It is a wild concept.
This is almost nostalgic from like an older time in the Republican Party.
100%. It's the gas stove argument, but for dogs now.
Yeah, I could see Rush Limbaugh monologuing about this for a long time.
It's
such a throwback scandal.
Yeah. A couple things to say about this. We need to bring up some of our more liberal friends on what we're actually facing when it comes to Randy Fine here. So Tom Malinowski tweeted this out. It's insane to believe that you can encourage such crude hatred of Muslims or Haitian Somalis or other group without triggering the same part of the human psyche that hates Jews. Every leader and organization dedicated to fighting anti-Semitism should condemn this bigot. Now let's explain why some of them won't. It's because of what a regular guest of this program, Jasper Nathaniel, says here in these two tweets, which is something we've been saying before about Zionists. He doesn't believe that Randy Fine started wearing a kippah, right, as his profile as a rabid Islamophobe rose, in order to provoke as an anti-Semitic backlash, the very fuel his political career depends on. Jasper follows it up. It's kind of like Israel, whose raison d'etre is to provide a safe haven for Jews in a world awash with anti-Semitism. Israel, like Randy Fine's career, requires the presence or perception of widespread anti-Semitism to justify its existence, which is not to say that they're not actually successful in cultivating a horrible anti-Semitism, but it's that they intend to do so.
Yes.
They mean to do it because it is, like Jasper says, the raw material that they need for the Zionist nationalistic project. Because if there is not a show around the corner, if there is not this widespread anti-Semitism, there is no reason to keep pumping billions of dollars towards fucking Israel.
And I mean, that's exactly right. He is deliberately trying to foment it, as I would imagine, the Israeli government and their propaganda outfit is, wants to encourage that kind of thing as well. Because if if Israel's the only, quote, safe space for Jews, then it justifies its existence and you're able to encourage more migration there. Although I'm telling you, that those days are over.
Yeah, it's over.
It's over. So, but the corrosive effects on our politics and on our Muslim friends. By the way, as Ramadan kicks off right now, it is going to be long lasting. But I'm just sorry. I have to laugh at that. Like AOC is saying we're going to get rid of your dogs. Look, AOC's got a really cute French bulldog, a really, really cute one. I wish if I had a dog, if I wasn't a cat owner, I would love one of those dang French bulldogs. They are so adorable. But pretty sure that's not a part of her platform, getting rid of dogs. It's just, and did you see though that he kind of amended what his initial tweet was about? If we're going to choose between dogs and Muslims, we choose dogs. One, tapping into the, like, this country has a psychosis about dogs a little bit. I love dogs. I grew up with dogs. I love dogs. But, like, there's a whole group of, like, often wealthier women that think that they're more important than most human beings in America.
An attack on a dog gets more attention than an attack on humans in certain cases. It recently happened.
Love our dogs, though, gotta say. But
I feel very alone in this studio.
I am a dog lover. We are on the same side. I just don't have one right now. But no, we are on the same side. I love dogs. But you're telling me that that there isn't a bit of psychosis from certain wealthier women about dogs?
I mean, if you want to make it like a class issue, it's because nobody can afford to have children too a lot of the time. So you got like a lot of people have put that energy into their dogs, because they will never have the space or money for a child.
Fair enough. But like he amended it, so he initially had basically it sounded like he was calling for killing of mass killing of Muslims as a way to preserve our dogs.
Right.
In this, now he's just saying, oh, we'll ethnically cleanse them out of the country to protect the dogs. It is so crazy. And it's as racist as it gets. Because, like, that is one of the smears on Muslim people, because many Muslims don't have dogs. But
Randy Fine is a true face of Zionism. And anybody trying to put a better gloss on it is doing evil work, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That segment reminded me of when Trump said that China's going to take hockey away from Canada. Remember that? He said, the first thing China's going to do is say, no more hockey. They're coming for your dogs. It's like, who is this scaring? Who is like clutching their pearls over this?
You know how Trump came up with that was just like, Canada, what do they love?
Moose, maple syrup.
Maple syrup, hockey. We're going to go with hockey. All right, guys, I gotta run to this interview I'm doing. Gonna read some IMs and get out of here. Illuminati kids, America's downfall tracks with the rise of the term fur baby. Dimpira, I think Brian needs a hug.
Absolutely not.
He's offended by the suggestion.
Tough for Brian.
I will hug my dog when I get home.
Illuminati kids, be fair, Michael Tracy was on track to be this generation's most incisive investigator until Maxine Waters gave him his traumatic beating, and now he's operating on a sub-Fetterman mental capacity. Sucking off the system says Christopher Nolan and Alex Garland write the same. I love this take. Super vapid crap with the aesthetics of being thematically dense, but are ultimately hollow and fall apart at the first scratch of scrutiny. Sucking off the system, let's hang out. Dixie wrecked. I take full credit for breaking Sam's brain by pointing out that Just Coffee doesn't offer tea. It's my greatest legacy. The dopamine, just whatever it's discussed on air, is real. That's funny. Okay, so it's not tea. There you go. Eric from Montana, Werner von Braun started the stupid Mars fantasy as a way to cope with the fact that his job was to build rockets to destroy people and property. Milo the Bealo, Carl Sagan was a truly badass motherfucker who had some impeccable takes on the capitalist class. Cosmos as a book and series is old space info, but spiritually holds up due to Sagan's views on humanity and the universe. Neil deGrasse Tyson is also a very deep political thinker in many ways. Many people undermine.
I'm less big on Neil deGrasse Tyson personally, even though I used to like his show with Merman and Eugene Merman, but he's done some stuff that is not great, and I think his approach is a little bit abrasive compared to Carl Sagan's.
Still love Eugene Merman, though.
Merman was so funny on that show.
Sick of fascist says Dave Rubin think tank is a paradox in terms. Sir Drunk the Tall says, are you watching A Night of the Seven Kingdoms finale this Sunday on 10, only on HBO and HBO Max? Ad. Okay, well, I'm not watching it. I may be. I'm a little maxed out on Game of Thrones stuff, but maybe I'll watch it. I don't know. 3 more and then we'll get out of here. John from from T-Berg. Elon always claiming he's going to save humanity by going to Mars. Sorry, buddy, I'm not placing my trust in the future in the guy who only wanted to ditch his kids on Christmas so we could go party on Pedophile Island.
It's crazy. Like, liberals don't understand how awful it is that the privatization of space, Obama was partnering with SpaceX to do, has led to this idea that any sort of progress on that frontier is privately owned instead of like NASA, which is like, at least when they were doing it and blowing up shuttles and whatever, it was for our collective sort of, good. And now it's just for investors. And people act like that's the same thing.
Kowalski from Nebraska, instead of colonizing Mars, I say we take Elon Musk's wealth and we use it to finance the colonization of the Western Dakotas, Nebraska and Kansas. Maybe before we go to other planets, we try the Great Plains. And Sasha says, Muslim household with an amazingly cute and happy dog here. Hate the ignorance around this. And the final I am of the day. Robin DC from the Minnesota Star Tribune. Someone doused Renee Good's Minneapolis Memorial and nearby pile of wood with gasoline and started a fire at about 9 p.m. Tuesday. Monsters. All right, guys, we will see you tomorrow. Appreciate you all. Bye-bye.
It might take all the strength I got to get to where I want, but I know somehow I'm gonna get there. I wasn't looking when I just got caught between the truth and the light bar. But finding out won't make me feel any better. Yeah, I know the clock is ticking, but the meds are gonna kick in, and my pilot light shining bright. I get somewhere the choice is made, for the option where you don't get paid, for the road that bends before it finally breaks you. I get somehow lost my drive,